Hey everybody, Pupsker here. So I wanted to make a video going over a lot of the amazing Warframes that, I think everyone should farm or at least try out, take a look, do what you will. Of course, this game has so many amazing Warframes, so realistically I would recommend maybe taking a look at all of them, but as always, depends on where you are in the game, what you can actually farm up, so without further ado, let's take a look at some pretty cool Warframes. First and foremost, and by the way, in no particular order, is Protea. I myself really love Protea for mainly 3 of her abilities, which would be Blaze Artillery, Grenade Fan, and Temporal Anchor. Grenade Fan's great because it does A, tons of damage, B, tons of shielding, right? And it is an overshield, so lovely. Blaze Artillery is just literally an auto turret. You can have, I think, 3 up at once, and when upgraded for some strength and duration, they really pack a punch, so hey, I like them, and their heat damage, can't complain there. Temporal Anchor's literally X duration until you go back in time and start where you use the ability. And then it has an explosion and everything, or sorry, implosion. So I love this ability purely because you can just click it, do a bunch of stupid shit, use a bunch of your abilities, hit it again, and then pretty much all of your energies is back, except obviously the energy you used on Temporal Anchor. So she's just a great Warframe. Might be a little harder to farm, especially early game, but oh my god, I myself love Protea. Next up is Octavia, or Octavia Prime. She is just a stupidly good Warframe, purely because you throw down Mallet, it does infinite damage, and it scales damage infinitely, has a really high radius if, you mod for that, and it just does a ton of damage. Throwing down all of your abilities just adds amazing buffs, especially the invisibility buff that you can get purely by just crouching in tune with the beat. So you have just a stupid good amount of abilities and usefulness with Octavia, and she just does a stupid insane amount of damage, right? It's just not fair, okay? It's just not fair. She can stay invisible, damage scales infinitely, and she has so many buffs. So what I'm just trying to say is she's a really good Warframe, especially if you just want to chill and destroy everything. The nice thing about Mallet is you can just have it move around with Resonator if you're not in like a defense point. So Resonator's great too. It's just such a lovely time with her, honestly. She does so much damage, especially since it's AoE and infinitely scaling, that, yeah, I would definitely recommend everyone check out Octavia. With all of her abilities working so well together, she's actually a really well-made Warframe, IMO. Ah yes, I could never leave out Excalibur Umbra. So, naturally, you probably see it a lot. I love playing Excalibur Umbra. I think he's a pretty fun frame, but a lot of people might not care for him. His main abilities are essentially Radial Howl, which just blinds everyone around you, and Exalted Blade. Most of the builds that people have on Excalibur Umbra are Exalted Blade, Chromatic Blade builds. It's what I have on mine. It's stupidly good, and it just does so much damage and applies so much status. So, hey, people love playing this build mainly because of this, plus with Exalted Blade, you can crouch attack and do a mini Radial Howl in a sense, so I just think he's a really good frame, but a lot of people might not like him purely because of his basic attack style of just spam melee and have ranged sword. So, obviously, this one's more niche, but I love Excal. He is the poster boy of Warframe, so clearly he's pretty cool, at least in some regard. So yeah, let me know what you think. Next up we have is Lavos. By the way, guys, I do have my affiliate Amazon link down below and in the comments section, just for highest or most selling Prime stuff. If anyone wants to take a look at the gaming Prime list, I think the most popular was like a $20 mechanical keyboard. Obviously cheap, not highest quality, but up to you. Also, if you like the video so far, please subscribe and like the video and do the YouTube stuff, as everything helps the channel. Thanks. So the reason Lavos is here is pretty much twofold. One, Lavos trivializes Railjack as Lavos does not have an energy pool and only uses cooldowns. And two, Lavos is stupid good because he has the ability to hit every single status in the game with his abilities and with his passive. So, the amount of usefulness that Lavos just has by existing in the game is huge. Then you throw on and tack on his abilities being generally good and having a decent range in order to just apply status effects. Yeah, all in all, he's really good. The kit is good and works well together. My only personal issue with it is it takes a little bit of time to properly apply all of the statuses before you use an ability. So if you're going for double status for all 4 of your abilities, your casting time is going to be pretty fucking long. So yeah, it's some good, some bad, not perfect, obviously, right? You have some ups, you have some downs. You kind of have to expect that with infinite status and no mana, energy, sorry. Next up on the list I have is Mesa Prime. Mesa is stupid good. So her main shtick is just Wicked Witch of the West, I would say. You know, she's a cowboy, a West Slayer. Her abilities are very reminiscent of all those lovely old Western movies, and her ultimate or 4th ability, Peacemaker, is just that. Her abilities work well together to buff her up and make her really strong and hard to kill, and then she pops down Peacemaker and shoots out the entire map. If modded well, she's just stupid fun and stupid good, but naturally her gameplay style is very simple of use buffs, use ability, hold left click. So definitely not everyone's favorite playstyle, but she has a cool shtick to her and she does really good damage. So hey, I'd throw her on the list because I honestly can't complain about Mesa. Next up I have is Saryn. So Saryn is stupid and strong, purely because lots of AoE damage, and her entire kit is essentially built around always poisoning the enemies with status, say viral, toxin. So she does corrosive on here, a ton of damage to everyone, and the way her kit works is she essentially has the ability to always have her abilities up, at least if you're paying attention. You'll always have spores out, miasma is used to just nuke. So all in all, she's really good, does really good AoE damage, and everyone should farm her up eventually. Next up I have is Volt Prime. So Volt, really 2 main abilities I love to use that make him stupid, right? Speed is just straight up speed multiplier. It's just so stupidly strong. It gives a reload speed multiplier, a general speed multiplier. If used with a certain augment mod, it does AoE damage, I believe. So it's just so good. You don't even need a ton of range on it at all for it to be good, even with like the AoE augment mod. So I just love speed Volt so much. Electric Shield is great because it's extra damage, a shield, huge duration, you can move it, and it stacks. So all in all, it's just good. I think it's an additive, not a multiplicative stack, so it is what it is, but extra electricity damage, I think, is the main reason why this and Volt is used on Eidolons. Discharge is great, but you know, you really have to have a discharge specific build to really take advantage of the range on it. It can be used as a really good map nuke, so don't get me wrong, it is amazing. It's just not my style of play. Shock is just electric touchy hands, so it's kind of funny. I never use it though. So last I have here is Wukong Prime. Or Wukong, obviously. Every Prime has the non-Prime equivalent, etc, so don't worry about that. Wukong is just stupid good and easy, right? His passive gives him 3 extra lives, so if he dies, he just revives instantly, and you pop one of those lives. His first ability creates a clone of him. Second ability, heals and just stuns. Third one, armor, invincibility, damage. My god, crazy. Fourth ability is the weakest ability, and it's an exalted staff, hilariously enough. So Wukong's just stupid good, and I definitely would recommend everyone play Wukong if you can, and farm him up if you can. Naturally, if not, that's fine. There are a ton of Warframes that I could talk about in this game, pretty much every single one of them. I could talk about certain OP builds and reasons why they're really great, but I just wanted to talk about these ones. These are my personal ones that I would say everyone should farm up and at least take a look at for one reason or another, right? Of course, if you don't like their general playstyle, shtick, or ability set, no need to do that, but Warframe has so many good Warframes, I could realistically make a video talking about every single one of them, even without mentioning augment mods, because that's a whole nother story, and just talk about how good their kit and abilities are. Other than some Warframes I would say I hate and just dislike playing in general. But other than that, there's just too many that are good, right? I didn't even bring up things like Mirage, Titania, Baruch. There are so many other Warframes out there. Gara, right? Like Necros, Korra, them and their shtick, right? There's too many Warframes, too many good things out there with too many good abilities. So, hey, I just felt like making this as a second video today, so let me know what you think. I know it's pretty late by the time this releases, but whatever. My sleep schedule's all over the place, and I need to go get an oil change soon, so I'm gonna wake up early morning and hopefully get that done. If you guys liked the video, I would appreciate it if you were to like, favorite, share, and do all of the YouTube things. Let me know what your personal favorites, your Warframes that you think everyone should farm down below are. I've made somewhat variations of this video before, but you know, never just my personal favorites that I think everyone should truly have. So, hey, let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Peace.